Please all rise for the national anthem sung by the South School Chorus. Also, please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Memorial Day honors the men and women of America in the Army, Navy, Coast Guard, Air Force, and Marines who died serving their country. It began as a holiday to remember American soldiers who died in the Civil War. As more wars were fought, it became a day for Americans to honor and remember their dead from all wars. Today, we have placed a flower arrangement in front of the podium in honor of all those who lost their lives serving our country.
The first graders will now perform Your Grand Old Flag by George M. Cohan, led by Giannis De Silvio Hayes and Jacob Taylor from Mrs. Hamilton's first grade class.
You're a grand old flag, you're a high-flying flag, and forever in peace may you wave. You're the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true for the red, white, and blue. Red is never a close or glad, but it all the place and see from the rock. Keep your eye on the grand old flag.
This morning, I have the pleasure of introducing our first speaker. Today, we would like to honor one of our custodians, Private First Class Jack Martin of the United States Marines. Jack has worked in the district since 2004 and at South School since 2020. Jack served as a military operational specialist, MOS, infantry rifleman. Today, Jack continues to honor his fellow veterans and his country each year through various events with the veterans, including the Londonderry Memorial Day ceremonies. Mr. Jack Martin has a few words that he would like to share with all of our South School Hawks this morning.
Good morning. America without her soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, it's like God without his angels. This was written by an author named Claudia Cherry Pemberton. God bless her. Now, I don't know the loved ones that you miss, but I know they meant a lot to you. We never get over the loss of a loved one. When that cold darkness descends upon us and things get hard to put into words, the sorrow that is shared. But when we believe that love prevails and tears cleanse, faith and hope soothe, good thoughts reassure, and a belief in a better place calls out every soul. Hope and faith whispers to us, I am here for your being. So let us dedicate our prayers to all who live in the minds and hearts of family and friends. Veterans live inside of us as long as they are remembered and loved. The love never dies. You young ones, you are the future. Help them make it the best that they can. And God bless America today, tomorrow, and forever. That's my little prayer to you today.
Second grade students will now perform This Land Is Your Land by Woody Guthrie, led by Kaylee Sevian and Declan Garrigan from the Savoy second grade class.
This land is your land, this land is mine, from California to the New York Island, from the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for me, as I was walking, that road of highway, I saw above me. And the skyway I saw below me, that golden valley, this land was made for you and me.
Joining us today, we have some members of our South School community who are currently serving in the military, as well as some members of our South School families who have served and are serving our country. Please hold your applause to the end. We would like to recognize Private First Class MOS Jack Martin, South School Custodian of the United States Marine Corps. Second Class Petty Officer Barry Hedge, Tyler and William Corcoran's grandfather of the United States Coast Guard. E4 John Cody, Reese Cody's dad of the United States Air Force. Master Sergeant Cody Lewis, Emily Spore's dad of the United States Air Force. Specialist Robert Longo, Nora Longo's dad of the United States Army. Airman Second Class Deanna Neal, Friend of South School, the United States Air Force. Robert Brundage, Friend of South School of the United States Air Force. Sergeant First Class Pedro Santana, Antonio Santana's dad of the United States Army. Private First Class E3 Brianna Santana, Antonio Santana's mom of the United States Army. Paul Ouellette, Annalise Ouellette's grandfather of the United States Army.
Captain Tara Koski, Zachary Koski's mother of the U.S. Army. Staff Sergeant David Philbrook, Jane Tomaselli's grandfather of the U.S. Army. Corporal Eric Hayford, Anna Brandt, and Graham Hayford's father of the U.S. States Marine Corps. Sergeant Michael Finn, Lennox and Magnolia Finn's father of the United States Marine Corps. Lieutenant Colonel Gordon Hadley, E.V. McCullough's grandfather of the U.S. States Air Force. Petty Officer Second Class Jacob Wesoja's Lucas O'Connor's father of the U.S. Navy. Staff Sergeant Daniel Perry, Londonderry School Resource Officer of the U.S. States Marine Corps.
Master Sergeant Ryan Phillips, Nolan Phillips' dad of the United States Air Force. Captain Heather DeSilvio, Gianna DeSilvio's aunt of the United States Army. Lance Corporal Johnny McKenzie, Shaylin Titus's stepfather of the United States Marines. Sergeant First Class Billy Donovan, Liam Donovan's dad of the United States Army. Jeremy Fortier, Layla Fortier's dad of the United States Army. Robert Mila, Riley Mila's great-uncle of the United States Marine Corps. Specialist E4 Jeffrey Folsom, Ava Folsom's dad of the United States Army. Dennis Perry, Callan Ashcraft's grandfather of the United States Army.
Sergeant Stephen D.C. Scarlett McCormick's grandfather of the United States Army. E3 Marie Worrell, Alex Jobe's grandmother of the United States Air Force. Corporal Michelle McInnes, Ben Hudson's mother of the United States Army. Sergeant Ronald Boutwell, Reese Boutwell's grandfather of the United States Air Force. Specialist E4 John Clark, Olivia and Madison Clark's grandfather of the United States Army. Petty Officer First Class E6 Eric Bernard, Brooks Bernard's dad of the United States Coast Guard Reserve. Specialist E4 Noah Sneelak, Danica Jeffrey's brother of the United States Army National Guard.
Please join us in a standing ovation for our servicemen and women.
Third grade students will now perform God Bless America by Irving Berlin, led by Anna Stephanie and Thomas Mandarin from Mr. Ron's third grade class.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the light with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans, wipe the foam. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Dropped it on accident.
Mr. Michael Finn, say a few words he would like to share with our South School Office.
Good morning, South School. Good morning. I've been thinking a lot about all of you. I would think the last 364 days since you last had the opportunity to hear some words from me. I'm nervous. I don't know if anyone else can relate, but celebrating Memorial Day has a special place in my heart. Just a little bit about me. Last time I didn't kind of do a quick introduction. Michael Finn, I'm a retired sergeant in the United States Marine Corps Reserve. I did 2 tours, one in Afghanistan, one in Iraq. I'm a Fallujah Marine, so I got a lot of scars from that in my heart. During my tour in 2006 in Fallujah, we ended up losing 11 Marines from our unit, right? Another, I would say 80 or so were wounded. I carry those Marines in my heart every single day, and they're with me as I try to impress upon you the importance and significance of this day and how we observe it as a culture and as a united nation of the United States of America. I know last year when I was talking with you, I connected, sitting out in the desert on post, guarding a forward operating base, and how it was, at one moment I had a guy with me, and then several weeks later he was no longer there. I think it's important, well, I won't tell you the whole story, that you kind of see how it moves me. And I can tell you right now, with the other people that I serve with, the Marines, it moves them just as much. All right, get back on track here. All right, so what I want to do is hit you some figures today, right? Numbers mean something to me, right? But I think providing a visual will help you understand the significance of this. Right, the United States had about, I think I did my math right, don't quote me on this, right, this is for visual only, about 600 million people since the Revolutionary War, right? There's about 332 million people in the United States today, right? We have, I'm only one of them, 41 million veterans, right, from all services, all walks of life who serve in the armed forces. Today we have about a million, just over a million active duty service members. Since the Revolutionary War, we had about 1.2 million service members die from Revolutionary War up until the War on Terror, right? So I talked with Mrs. Settle this morning via email. There's about 471 of you, to be precise.
I need
If I were to try to equate that this morning, right? So if I could have, how many people in the classroom? 20? I have one class to stand up. Let's go with Mrs. Penoy's classroom. Right, Mrs. Penoy's classroom. This is the number of people who have served our nation, representing the rest of you. All right, there's a visual. Everyone here in this room, 471 students, these students are the ones that answer the call to defend our country, to preserve our way of life, to give you freedom, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. Can I have one student remain standing and all the other students sit down, please? Young lady in front, would you stay standing while everyone else sat down? This young lady represents the 1.2 million veterans that have died in service to our country, providing freedom and liberty to the rest of you.
I will respect.
This is the visual I hope to create this morning to show you the burden that's been borne for our the burden that has been borne by our citizens that have worn the uniform. And this young lady right here represents those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice and are no longer with us. To give you an idea of just how many veterans we have and how few have died, right? Just to give all of us freedom. All right, thank you, ladies. You can sit down. If I could have Lennox and Magnolia join me real quick. I did check with Miss Penoy. She's at a school, so if you can come up here real quick. Please bring the POW flag. Please hold on. All right, so while they're getting set up here, right, so while Memorial Day isn't specifically about those who prisoners of war or missing in action. See, I get a chance to practice slides here or something. All right, there you go. Right, this has a special place in my heart, right? And really for those Vietnam veterans. How many people have seen this flag flown somewhere? Does everyone know what it is? And it's okay not to know. So, this is the prisoner of war missing in action flag. Right, back in the 70s, this was created by a wife of a pilot who was shot down over Laos in the Vietnam War. Right, this flag, when you see it flown, represents all of those service members who were missing in action. They never came home. They're unaccounted for. Their families have no closure. And all of those who were prisoners of war, a lot of them were pilots shot down over Vietnam that were locked up in prison in Vietnam, right? And some of them died in captivity, some were brought home, right? But this flag, when you see it, right, and it's usually flown right below our American flag, right, our national standard. It signifies that our nation, united, answers the call to defend, to sustain our way of life. And in bearing that call, some of them are killed in action, some died, some never come home to their families. And others were lost at sea, shot down over enemy territory, or just never recovered. This flag symbolizes their sacrifice and the anxiety, uncertainty, and incompletion of never having closure. So when you see this flag, I hope it brings you a little bit of better understanding of just the price that was paid to preserve the freedom that you have here. Thank you, Lex. Thank you. Here, you can use that. And I will proudly fly this underneath the United States flag at half staff over the weekend, right? If you drive my chaser, you're going to see it next. All right, so to bring it back, how this is applicable to all of you, and I said this last year, right? And I'll say it again because I think we have some new students, right? Hello, new first graders. How do you honor the men and women who have paid the ultimate sacrifice in defense of this country and preservation of our freedoms, right? You can attend a parade, you can lay flowers and put flags next to gravestones, you can shake veterans' hands and say thank you. But as I said last year with that Marine who passed away, right, weeks after we had been on post, knowing that you are here, knowing that you are in school, that you're learning, you're bettering yourselves, that you're being a buddy, you're being kind, you're being respectful, responsible, and safe with each other. That right there is why those men and women were willing to lay down their lives. So you can be kids, you can be young adults, you can be teachers and staff, you can go on doing everything that you know to be important. So on this weekend, right, it's Memorial Day, when you're swinging, you're on the playground, swing a little higher, safely so you can do it. Go down the slide another time. Enjoy a hot dog. Enjoy a hamburger, a juice box. And when you do those things, when you drive by a flag and you don't have it in your house, the ones in your hands, you bring them home. Remember that that flag represents not only our veterans that we have here today, our active duty service members. Thank you. Thank you so much. It also represents those service members, those men, women, uncles, aunts, nephews, aunts, nieces that never came home from their combat tours. And also remember that their families will never be able to celebrate with them again. So, have a great weekend. Hug your parents. Thank your teachers. Thank your staff and your leadership here at the school. They are providing you the structure to grow up and be kids and be adults and do great things, to continue the greatness and the goodness that our country has allowed. All right. Have a great Memorial Day. Look at the flag. Remember the sacrifice. Hug your parents. Be friends with one another. Be fun. All right, thanks very much.
Fourth grade students will now perform America the Beautiful by Catherine Lee Bates, led by Leah Mancini and Henry Bergeron from the Syracuse fourth grade class.
Oh, beautiful, or spacious skies, forever waves of rain, or purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. The chorus will now sing the anthem from each branch of the military. Miss Judy Martin and Miss Hillary Walter will narrate.
That song speaks of heroes who more than their self-country loved. For the days of our early American patriots through current conflicts, these are the men and women who served our country in military service.
We want to recognize those of you who have served or are serving in our armed forces. And so we invite you to stand when the theme song for your branch of service is sung. Please allow us to honor you today.
Air Force.
Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Till we die, sending our fleet our thunder, and the boys give her the gun. Till we die, sending our fleet from under, off with one terrible roar.
Marines.
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles in the air, on the Dead Sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honors clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines. Marines! Navy! Coast Guard! Army! Air Force!
Let's stand and give a hand to all of our servicemen and women.
Now we would like to recognize our South School children who have parents who have served in the military in recognition of their strength and sacrifices. Military children, please rise to be recognized. At the end of the ceremony, we would like our military family members to join their children in front of the stage for a photo.
The three students will now perform My Country to the Beat by Samuel Francis Smith, led by Lauren Murray and Nathaniel Hopkins from Mrs. Sullivan's fifth grade class.
My country 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrims flight, from every mountain side, let freedom ring.
The chorus will now perform Those Who Serve by Teresa Jennings.
Thank you for attending our Memorial Day celebration, our ceremony. Once again, please stand while Paps is played by a former South School student, Owen Barr. When they are finished playing, please, students and teachers, you may then return to your classrooms in respectful silence.